You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. They won't even admit the knife is there.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black Briefing Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Samantha Douglas.
I'm Wild Style for show.
Wild Style for show. He tried to put that extra put on there, but we hear the for show still. So it's been a while, like a long
It's
while.
been a long while.
I'm sorry. We only missed 1 month though. I know it feels super long because our podcasts are only once a month. We're gonna get better at some point.
Hopefully, if the world doesn't stay so crazy.
That's the biggest problem. Is that you can't even keep up. Like there's so much stuff happening that if you don't talk about it in real time, it's like it feels super old. That's why it was hard putting together this list for our episode today because
we're missing a lot of stuff that happened, but it also the stuff we got on here is very relevant. So
Yep, and stuff that just broke this morning, by the way.
Lord,
so
that's crazy.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the bottom. But I know you guys saw it. The title for today is "The Bar is in Hell." I feel like if you are anywhere near anything that's going on, you know that this applies to just about every single place you can imagine, from our federal government all the way down to right here in our
some of our
communities.
local institutions are of higher education.
The bar is in hell. Okay, and not the fun kind of bar like Lil Nas X bar. No, this is the standards.
Yeah, like no Long Islands are being served. At
No
this
Long
bar.
Islands are being served. No. If ads are popping, it's because they literally popping, and that's tragic. So this may not be an encouraging one. I'm sorry to tell you.
We're going to start out
with some good news.
So good news, and it's going to go downhill from there.
It'll go downhill. But at the end, we're actually going to end with the brief thoughts this time, and that may be a place for some, better feelings. Maybe we'll see.
Hope for the future as everything burns.
Hope for the future, maybe. But we get to start at a super exciting place, and like the Hunley stands we have to start here. The Hunley
at least
campaign
we're honest about it too.
launch. Yeah, no, I'm honest about it. She's the best candidate for the job. And just to be clear, again, there are no promised positions for me or Wild. No conversations had. We are not being paid by the campaign. We do not work for the campaign.
The promised position that I'm counting on is that I won't have to work for the mayor's office, and I won't have to go protest. That's the promised position is I get to be a regular citizen in a functioning city government.
Facts. That's what we're waiting on. So just FYI, I just wanted to put that out there. So the campaign launch, I was able to be there for the first hour. It was crazy. So it was sold out. Period. First and foremost.
Sold out could mean anything. What? 50 people showed up, 75 people. How many people showed up?
1,500 people.
Woo.
1,500 people, not just RSVP'd. They showed up.
And
Both
we know they showed
floors
up because
were
there's
packed.
pictures of it.
Pictures.
And she had
videos.
they made the decision on like after everybody showed up and there wasn't enough room for everybody in one room that she had to give 2 campaign speeches.
In the rain. Like y'all don't know because y'all don't put on events. But the rain
And it was
can kill your event.
It was pretty nasty out that day.
Yeah, it was bad. It was cold. It was rainy. It was not a great, and people still, they are so inspired. They still showed up. Y'all, it's a great sign. It's a great sign. It was nothing like that retirement community party that we saw before. Okay. It was nothing like it. Okay. It was
happiness,
it was
joy,
full of diversity, diversity in race, in age, in culture, in, everything, like
families.
Yes. There was whole
people brought
families.
their kids out.
Yes. Oh, I love to see it. You could buy merch. I think they sold out on merch.
They sold out on merch.
Oh, y'all.
I mean, and I mean, the room was, you know, at first everybody was, you know, they were disappointed because of the rain, and they were like, oh, like they had to move it all inside, and there was a lot of fears about that. So there was an enormous downstairs room, and there was an enormous upstairs room, and it should not have worked. Stuff like that should not have worked, but
and it did.
It did.
We did not care. We moved. We worked that building, boy. We go downstairs. We go upstairs, giving all our hugs and kisses and connecting. It was a beautiful time too. There were so many cute little engagements. Like you could pick up the phone and like leave a little message for. You could take pictures with the backdrops and stuff, which I did. There were so many content creators there too. So many Black vendors there. It was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful space. I missed her campaign speech because I could only be there for the first hour. I had to come out here back to the Far East Side for an event and cafe. But you were there for the speech. How did it feel? How did the energy feel?
It was powerful. I think one of the things that I liked about it was she brought real authenticity. When she talked about her years at IPS, and she said, I hired and I fired people. And most candidates aren't going to sit there and say like, oh, I did something that, you know, like I had to fire people and this and that. But she made it clear, like, no, this is what I did, and this is what I'm going to be doing as mayor. It's like, I'm going to, you know, make sure that these positions are filled and with competent people. She talked about all of that. She talked about not just like fixing the problems, but like visioning what Indianapolis could be, giving a vision for the future, you know, that was inclusive of everybody. And I was just really impressed. Like she put some time into it. And she was the same person that we had on the podcast a couple months ago. For that speech.
There's one story from there that I really want to make sure that I call out. So when I first got there, I was downstairs first and it was all packed and stuff. And then I got upstairs, and that's actually when I saw her. It's like, you know, like when they're trying to sort through the bees to find the queen.
Yeah,
like it was like, it was hard to find her. But I got upstairs and I finally, I saw her and I was like, hey, I can only be here the first hour, but just want to let you know that I'm here and support, blah, blah. I brought my husband, whatever. And she greeted, and she looked over at one of her interns or assistants, something, and she was like, hey, I want to make sure I get a picture before Sam has to leave or whatever. And I was like, yeah, because I gotta get over to cafe. And she was like, oh yeah, they're graduating the doulas tonight.
Oh,
and
man.
You know what I
Man.
mean? My soul was like, because why do you know that? Because why do you know that? Okay, this is a small event in Cafe's gym. This was just these people who are graduating. It was 15 of them and their families. This was not there was no flyers or hoopla. It was none of that. This was something like inner community. But the reason why it's so significant and important is because I want people to know that, like, having the right leadership with the right perspectives of community is so important. But for somebody who is running for mayor of an entire city to know of a small event happening in a single neighborhood on a Friday night, y'all, it's so indicative of just who she is and the kind of leadership that she's going to bring to our city. And there's so many other times she's blown me away with the stuff that she just knows and that she keeps up with. But that was a big one for me, and I wanted to be able to share that story with y'all because it was one of those moments. It was very small. We didn't make a big deal of it, but thinking on it later, I was just like, yes, like this is who we need.
Yeah.
Like, this is who we need. This level of attention and intention, you know, this level of leadership.
And I mean, and people showed up. I mean, even some Republicans, some former.
Yeah, had Abdul in there.
Yeah.
Had Abdul. He was in there hating, but he was in there.
Abdul made the case that if you stand with somebody that you agree with everything that they say. So apparently
that's crazy.
We're assuming that Abdul is Team Hunley because he definitely stood with her.
He definitely stood with her.
He took a picture with her. Obviously, you're a Democrat.
And by proxy, then it stands with Jesse Brown.
It is like Abdul stands for everything that Jesse Brown is standing for.
Everything.
It's crazy, Abdul. That is some wild stuff, man.
Wild stuff. It's wild stuff.
Also, fundraising seemed to, of course, the press has got to make a big deal about how I guess $100,000 that Hunley has isn't a good enough start.
That is community raised. It was their goal to get 500 donations in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean she already had 100,000, but
they get 530.
Yeah,
that was the final count. I think.
Well, it hit 600 before they took the stop letting you see how much they got.
Oh my God!
It got to 600 before.
So, but I just want to point if you have 1,500 people there and you hit that many donations, like I just want y'all to see that this is a grassroots campaign. This isn't a whole bunch of money from a few big donors. This is a lot of reasonable amounts from people just like you, just like us, that just want to see better.
I mean, in full
need to see better.
Full transparency, before, well, we've already declared that we're Hunley fans, but I donated, and I haven't donated to actual money to a political campaign probably since Obama.
I think she last year, since I first knew she was like thinking about it, she's one of the only reoccurring donations I've ever done. So like we're all reoccurring. Like I need her to win.
Yeah,
I need her to win.
We do.
The city needs her to win.
Because I don't want to have to move to the Hill District in Pittsburgh if some other candidate gets in there.
I'm telling y'all right now, if we lose Wild Style, I'm fighting everybody. Like, I'm fighting everybody. We ain't losing Wild.
I've told certain supporters of one candidate, I'm like, look, I can't do that's. I've lived under that type of leadership, literally. Yep. I can't do it no more. And I want to make this point. I want to make this point because I think it's important, not just for the race between her and the other guy, but anybody else that gets into this field of mayoral candidates. Our city, and I've been saying this a lot, it feels like we have been chafed raw. Yeah. Like everything feels so raw, so just agonizing. Everything, we just feel like we're in pain. And her campaign to me feels like a balm, like a salve, like a cool compress on just very aggravated, agitated, nasty, scabbing up skin. You know what I mean? It feels like after all of the friction, after all of the pain, after all of the poor leadership, after all of the suffering, we need like a moment of like healing, of focus, of intentionality, of care. We need a moment of care. And it feels like that's what her campaign brings. And any other person, the current one that's out there and a lot of the other candidates, what I don't get from them or their campaign or their personalities or their leadership styles up until this point is any sense of like soothing care, of intentionality, of the right perspective, And I wanted to highlight that. Acknowledging that harm has been done.
Yes, acknowledging that harm has been done.
Because I can go to one of her opponents that talks about how that they want to continue on the success that Indianapolis is having. Now, this is literally, it's not my words.
Continue on what success?
That's what I'm just like, more scabbing and like you're gonna cut us even deeper, because that's like, you have to acknowledge that the city is not functioning very well.
It depends on this is what I think, in truth. It depends on who are you looking to serve. Yeah. I mean, because yes, you can look downtown. They're about to build a brand new whole situation where Circle Center is. They're building a hotel. They're, doing all of these other things.
We got data centers going up at Decatur.
Centers going up Decatur, Brightwood, Irvington. If that's your standards, if that's what then maybe you feel like you're building on success, right? Yeah. But for those of us who work all day long and still can't feed our families, who work all day long and can't afford any kind of housing, rent, or to buy it, like For those of us who actually need real stuff for just everyday life, we are suffering.
This is not
success.
It's not success to me.
We're losing people, whether it's to gun violence or drug addiction or anything. We are losing people at alarming rates every single day. This is not success. And by what measure? Like, I think a lot about this. Has been coming up a lot for me lately. The clip of Malcolm X where he talks about when you've been stabbed in the back.
Yeah.
And he's like, partially removing that knife is not progress. He said progress happens when the wound is healed. Mm-hmm. And we can't even get them to acknowledge there's a knife.
That there's something wrong, that like things are not working for a lot of people in the city.
And I may put that clip at the beginning of this episode, in truth. That's probably going to be our opening clip, because I need y'all to see and hear this, because I think they think that we're just like cynical, and in some ways probably.
We've seen how this goes. Like, I mean, even the other day when a friend of another mayoral candidate said that they were pro police reform, and I was like, I've never known this person to be pro police reform, and I could go through the articles and say what they actually said. That was not reform. You were in league with the Fraternal Order of Police. You were doing their bidding, not the community's bidding, and like, this is not normal.
Yeah,
it's not normal to have city council and the mayor afraid of the Fraternal Order of Police.
I will say this though: when the bar is in hell,
boy,
anything looks good. Mm-hmm. When you got people, when you got a Trump in office, when you got a Braun in office, when you got a Diego Morales in office, you start to look at a piece of food with just a little bit of shit on it, like. Maybe I can work around it.
It stinks, but it don't stink as bad
as the full pile of shit that's sitting over here. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, at least it's food. It's like, really?
I've gotten that from some of the other person's supporters. It's like, well, you need to be worried about what Trump's doing. I am worried about what Trump's doing, but also. The mayor is in charge of most of what's going on in my day-to-day life.
This actually gives us a perfect segue into the next topic, because we have not dedicated a topic to this race yet, and I want to make sure that we have a little conversation about it. And it is the Bayh Potter race for Secretary of State.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, at our convention, both conventions, so the Democrat convention in June, pretty sure the Republican convention is in July, we will choose our candidates, each of the parties, for Secretary of State. That is the seat currently held by Diego Morales, and they oversee elections. As many of you know, like more like community facing is like the business part, right? It's like when you start a business and you got to file with the Secretary of State and things like that. I know you got a lot of you guys who do your business stuff on InBiz and stuff like that. You've seen his name. But yeah, those are the kind of some of the functions of the office. And we have 4 Democrats, and I know a lot of our watchers are progressives. So on our side, or maybe we should talk about the Republican side of things real quick. Let's talk about the Republican side of things real quick.
That's more interesting.
Just real quick. We'll talk about the Republican side real quick. So Diego Morales is the incumbent, and typically incumbents are supported by the party. Now, we have said for a while that Diego's not liked by his party. He's not. And we know he's been clowning. He has. Finagling financial ways to, use campaign funds to pay for.
But it was all cool until that what was his chief of staff might be undocumented or something. That was what really got him.
You think?
Yeah, because they didn't care about nothing else.
He's done a whole bunch of shady stuff. Please Google, and I'll put some links. But please Google Diego Morales.
But it wasn't until then that I started seeing, like, they were like, oh no, wait a minute, I think you've gone too far.
They're like, we're good with fraud.
Yeah, it was.
We're not good with it.
What was it? $100,000 company Indiana State car vehicle he had. Yeah, that was okay. They never said nothing about it.
All that was good.
But when there was allegations that his chief of staff is is an
undocumented. Whoa.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Whoa, buddy.
You can steal from us, but you can't.
You can't bring somebody in undocumented. So, so because of this, recently, like this is in the last couple weeks, you had
Jim Banks
and Tyrone Keita.
Tyrone
Keita come out and they're like they're gonna have their own candidate at the convention for Secretary of State. Now, it's important to note that these are all Trump. These are also Trump guys.
They're all bad people.
They're all bad people.
Let's just say they're all bad people.
These are all Trump guys. But we know that the convention, especially the Republican convention, can be flipped. It has been done. The Lieutenant Governor, Micah Beckwith, just did it at their last convention.
Because Brown didn't want him.
And totally upended their situation, got in his favor. By the way, it's called organizing. You can do that. Anybody can do that. But yeah, so they were looking for Diego to drop out of the race. A lot of people, have been like, I don't see that happening. I thought he might too. I thought there was a chance he might too, thinking that I'm always assuming they know more than I do. But his ego could very much so keep him in this race. I could see it. So
it's going to be very destructive. I hope they get to fighting.
Small man, big ego. But we so that's a thing. The reason why it's important to progressives, folks on, the left side, is because, they lose the edge of the name recognition of the incumbent. This definitely creates a pathway for a Democrat to get more votes.
And there's another person running.
And there's a third party in the mix, which we all know, because I think did we talk about it here?
I don't know if we did. I don't think we did. Maybe
so
briefly.
Ballard, our former mayor, is running on his own party. What's it called? The Liberty Party?
I think so.
Liberty Party, something like that.
But not libertarian.
Not libertarian. Still conservative though. Still, I think I would call it conservative.
It's definitely not progressive.
Definitely not progressive, and not
But
Trump.
he was kind of a maverick, so I'll give him that.
Could we be looking at like another Holcomb?
No, because I
think
don't,
more conservative than Holcomb.
No, I think he was less conservative than Holcomb.
Really, you think so?
Yeah, he was less conservative than Holcomb, but he was. I mean, honestly, Ballard was probably about the same level as Hawksett. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, we're gonna be realistic. I mean, I mean the trails went in because of Ballard. Indigo got expanded because of Ballard. Like what progressive move that has Hawksett done that Ballard didn't do? I can't name one. Now, I'm not gonna sit there and say that. I think a lot of the buffoons
the Cupid shuffle.
Yeah, Ballard could never. Ballard never attempted to. Was not progressive enough to attempt the Cupid shuffle. So, I will say that you.
Oh my God! But anyway, yes, there is a third candidate, so it creates a pathway for sure.
And Ballard, I thought it was just a ruse at first. Until the Republicans started trying to sue to keep him from doing this.
I know several Democrats that have told me if a particular candidate gets through on the Democrat ballot, they will vote for Ballard. They will vote for Ballard. So
hey, I'm gonna pick we're just gonna
I'm gonna pick the
alphabetical order of Ballard.
So I want to get back to, which brings us back to the Democrat nominees. Okay, I'm actually a state delegate, so I get to have a vote. Yeah, I get to have a vote at the convention for this, and we are choosing between Blythe Potter and Bayh. Okay?
They're both veterans, right? I think they're both.
Yes, yeah. I think so. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they're both veterans. Obviously, Bayh is from the long line of Bayhs that have been in elected leadership in our state here, with What's-Her-Majig, and then Birch, and then Evan, and then you got Bayh. But
and I hope this isn't the case, but it seems like every generation got more conservative.
Oh, I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. I don't know. They tout very similar credentials, though, leading up into this point. And there's a lot of people that make the case that, like, Bo's only going to get into this seat just until he runs for governor. And then for senator, like, it's going to be the same exact track as his father. I don't know. We don't know that. But I think...
And there's also those accusations that he's not really a Hoosier. And
yes, he didn't live here. He didn't... And I ain't going to lie to you. I'm so interested in getting the right leaders in these seats that I wouldn't care who it was if they were going to be a great leader. Yeah. Especially for our party. More important than just that seat, but also our party. And
that
I
hasn't,
just don't see it.
That my issue has not been. Yeah, it's a little bit concerning that he hasn't lived here. He's not really been.
If Mom Donnie moved here,
yeah,
would we hold it against him that he was from no? Who cares, y'all?
I'm less concerned about that, and I'm more concerned about the company he keeps.
I was gonna say, yeah. Forget where he's from. Where's his money from?
No, not even.
Where's his friends from?
Yeah, it's not even the money. It's the lowlifes that he's got around him.
And that leads me to this topic. So I want to talk about this because I have been in limbo about who I was going to vote for. I was undecided until literally last week. I was undecided because what I was trying to weigh, I know that, and this is in my opinion, Bayh represents the establishment Democrat Party that unfortunately we have been. And
when we say establishment Democratic Party, we're talking about the mayor's office. Like this is literally we're literally talking about the mayor's office.
The mayor's office, I think the current state party is rough. Like, I mean, to me, I link it with people who are lazy and complacent, have zero understanding of organizing or what actually moves people. And then that leads me to whether they actually have an interest in doing any of these things, or are they more interested in personally profiting from the dysfunction?
Well, I think we know the answer to that.
I know. And so...
I'm just not excited. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so I struggled because I was over and over again. I was thinking in my head, this is what I'm sure a lot of us Democrats are weighing. Is it worth giving the establishment a win just so that we have a Democrat at the state level because we have none? That kind of representation at the state level. And I went back and forth on this a lot because I do hold different standards based on where the seat is. Because like in Marion County, y'all have heard me say it 50,000 times, we get to be picky because there is so many Democrats. It doesn't matter if you're a good Democrat. We can get a great one here. You know, like we get to be picky at the state level. I do think the standards are a little different. We're not quite as picky. It's a little more lax because one, we do have to consider that Democrats here in Marion County are not the same as Democrats around the state. You know, you get into our rural areas and stuff like that. We do think, move differently, have different things that impact our life. And I understand that. And so a lot of times my standards are a bit more lax, especially as far as like who can actually win, who can get in there, who can do a great job, blah, blah, blah. And what I want to see is a candidate that can kind of embody all of those things. And I haven't necessarily seen that yet. In fairness, I haven't had a whole lot of conversations with either one of them. I do have a meeting coming up with Blythe. Maybe eventually I'll talk to Bayh at some point. But I'll tell you what got me last week. What got me last week is I was reading. So I get a whole bunch of article stuff in my feed about both candidates, why we should vote for one or the other. Of course, they always tout that Bayh has the chance of actually winning at a state level. If we get Blythe through, she's not going to win and blah, blah, blah. She doesn't have the name recognition. We need the name and blah, blah.
I don't know. I think it's the money, honestly.
And what I was challenged by is if Bayh gets to that level, if he gets into this seat, what do we get really? What do we really win? Like,
it's not what we get, it's what those people around them get.
And when it comes to elections, like nobody is being more targeted right now than people of color, Black people, immigrants. Like, we are the ones that are really that they're putting legislation or making ineffective legislation that protects us and our voting rights. I have not heard him talk about anything about that.
I don't even see him talking to Black people.
I was just about to say that. I haven't seen him on any platforms with Black folks. I haven't seen, I have not.
You don't see Black people. You don't see Black people in pictures with him. I mean, I haven't. I'm sure he's taken some.
Other than get Diego Morales out of there, I don't really understand the benefit of folks voting for Beau Biden. And so other than getting a statewide win, and so then what it led me down the track of is, well, if he wins, he has this war chest. He has this money. He has the name. Is he going to leverage that to start flipping seats at the State House? Again, I haven't been able to ask him this question yet, but I haven't heard him talk about that either. Like, are you going to leverage that power? So again, I was stunned by that too. Then I got to a place of really, we need better candidates.
Yeah.
And then I got to the place of how our party and these candidates that come up, the dynamic is out of whack. So the party should be of use to candidates, but because they've rendered themselves useless with their lack of organizing, now the party kind of just sucks up behind whatever candidate they think wins, right? So because of that power dynamic, we stay in these places where candidates get to come in and just kind of dominate the way that we move as a party throughout the state. And when I start to think about that, and I start to think about what is that, how much worse does that become if we allow something that's as much as a force as a Bayh to come into that equation? That is that is insurmountable. That puts us back so many years. Like, we are chipping away at trying to get to something better, electing better officials, getting better party leadership, kind of.
My issue, and I don't know Beau Bayh. I've never met him, like most Black people in Indianapolis. I don't know. I mean, he might be a great guy, but one of the issues is it's not one thing. It's all the things.
What does he signify? He may be a great guy. This is what I'm struggling with.
But we don't know.
But what does he represent?
He represents the establishment, like the people that once were around his father as governor and a U.S. senator are now all had their time at the mayor's office. These are the people that have brought him out to meet us. And these are the people that are doing harm to my community. They're doing harm to your community. They're doing harm to us. And so that's where I have to go by. And, and you put that on top of, and this wouldn't be as big of an issue if I knew he was rooted in the community here and he was a person that understood Indiana and had his own opinions and had his own relationships. But I know that's not true. I know that he doesn't have other relationships. I know that the only people that he has to talk to are the same people that have been doing harm to us for the last decade. And that's what concerns me.
I've yet to see his campaign do anything fresh, innovative, new, try to reach new people or have, those conversations. It seems like that places where there could be conflict or just great conversation or challenge, that it's been avoided. Yeah. That they've either his team has sheltered him or that's the advice that he's getting, or what I think is terrible advice in this climate. But okay.
I mean having James Briggs bring him out with what was his name, with Dan Parker, and they go to his empty apartment that has virtually no furniture. It all sends a message.
It's terrible. We parachuted in you guys a savior.
Yep.
And this is and so you have all of that going on one side, and then I look at Blythe and I think about what could happen if we got her through convention. If we got her through the convention, maybe she has less, and in my opinion, she has less of a chance at winning statewide.
Yeah.
I'll just say
and
that.
I think it's the money.
It's
more than anything.
I think
else.
it's money and name recognition. I think you got a lot of our seniors remember the Bayh name. They remember the Bayh name.
But a lot of them don't. I mean, he was not well liked at the end.
Again, we're talking about our older folks. I don't even think they you got people who are frustrated with how extreme the Republican Party has gotten. True. You got I do think the time is ripe for something to come through. But when I look at Blythe and I look at what does she signify? Mm-hmm. What does she symbolize? And to me, when I look at her race, when I look at her platform, when I see the platforms that she's willing to go on, the conversations she's willing to have, I see somebody who I see a win out of that. And let me tell you what I see the win in is there's this feeling like you're going to have to come see us, the people. Mm-hmm. So when you have a candidate that is people focused and people driven, you have to go to the people if you want to combat that kind of leadership, because that's where they're going to send you, And one of the things that I see with Blythe's race, we can send a message, even if we can't win the seat, which I think we can still win. We would just have to actually help her. Mm-hmm. We would have to actually support her statewide. But at the convention, voting in Blythe as our candidate, I think sends a message to the state, to our party, to our local party, everything. We are ready for something new, something different. Keep the gimmicks, keep the name recognition, keep the history, the legacy picks, and the name, and even the money. We want effectiveness. We want to drive change. We need something new, something that's going to energize us, something that's going to bring people out, something that is going to cause the party to see you cannot continue down this trajectory. And that is now how I see her campaign. I think it's a chance for us to send the message that this is not about winning or losing. This is about people. This is about representation. This is about power. And for too long, this system has been upside down. We need to have leadership that actually helps rebuild and enforce our party in a way that they actually become a significant support to candidates who want to get into these positions of power and authority, that are accountable to the standards, to the code of conduct, to the ethics committee that now we've pushed for and fought for, that there is something more to being a Democrat than just putting that, wearing blue and putting that D next to your name, that it means something.
I think I would feel differently about taking this chance if we were talking about governor, but Secretary of State, most people don't know what the Secretary of State does anyway.
They don't.
I'm gonna be honest. It may be powerful in certain regards, but Secretary of State is not what Braun is doing.
No, and when he gets in there, he'll be challenged at every turn. Anyway.
Every
turn. Single thing that he tries to do, the State House and our governor's office is going to meet him with some kind of challenge every single step. That I think what we're getting to really is having him in that office. It's not going to be huge.
It's not going to be effective, especially the way I know they're going to. If he gets through, how they're getting him in there, it's not going to be from organizing. A 92 county strategy to get Democrats all over this state to do something. They're going to get him in by the strength of his name, and they're going to hang him to dry.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Or even worse, we're going to continue to celebrate mediocrity, and they're going to get.
There's no shortage of that.
And we're still not going to get anything out of it. I'm tired. Mm-hmm. If I can just put it simply, I am tired, and I waited a lot. Those who know me, I'm a strategic thinker, and strategically having a state seat go to a Democrat, yes, feels and sounds like a very big deal. But at the same time, we need to consider the harm that it could also do. and the harm that it could do to progress being made by progressives to really carve out our own power even within this party. And it's too big. To me, the cost is too high.
And I have not seen from Bayh yet that he wants to engage with the not just black people, but like the other 92, 91 counties. I'm not seeing that. Like, I mean, at some point, like, I go put on some overalls and get out there in the country. Like, I'm just not seeing like the struggle,
people-centered campaign.
Yeah, the effort, like, to connect with everybody.
It's not a people-centered campaign, and that's my point. It's one of these old school. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's one of those type of campaigns,
his father got elected governor in 1988. Was it 88? I think
88.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Maybe. A lot of them people, a lot of them are still voting, but a lot of them people are not. My other fear is that they get them on there and they still can't win.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I
mean, then. You know, and then they're gonna go like, these losses, nothing. We just have to go deal with the Republicans.
They're gonna get him on there. He's gonna mess around and get the Republican votes that he needs and lose Democrat ones, because all on the progressive centers with Marion County, with Lake County and stuff, where you need the Democrats to turn out, they're gonna turn out and they ain't gonna vote for you. Like that's and that's.
I mean, that's another thing is like, I mean, if you think his name recognition is going to get progressives out, and that's just the vote, like, period. I don't think there's going to be a mass of Democrats voting against him. I just don't think that it's going to be a big deal about getting more people out to vote. Like, we do need voter turnout, and this is something that we keep failing. Like, even with the Marion County Democratic Party.
Oh my God, don't even get me started, y'all. I went to a meeting last night. My God.
I mean,
it's not getting better.
Hamilton County was doing numbers, but we're not doing that in Marion.
Doing numbers.
But Marion County is not like we're getting a bump because things are so bad with Braun and Trump and Braun, but we're not getting the bump like Hamilton County and some of the other counties.
Hamilton County, y'all. According to their outreach data, okay, this was shared on their Facebook post, and I actually shared this too. They reached over 45,000 people, 45,000 voters. Marion County reached over 18,000 voters. Marion County has 600,000 more people than Hamilton County. I just do what you will. I won't judge you. There, I just gave you data. And so you can do what you want with it.
But you know, they'll talk. Anytime I say, you know, it might be some issues with leadership, they'll talk to blue in the face about
they'll let leaders flat out lie. There was a leader that was like, anybody who knows me knows I'm never defensive. I've only I have, ever since I have been critical of anything with the Marion County Democratic Party, I have only gotten defensive from them. Only. So the fact that we sit there and we let people tell these lies that are in leadership, let me tell you, that's not love, that's not help, and that's not support. You are encouraging them to continue to be ineffective, and it's not helpful because it's not serving anybody but them.
Right.
And it don't even serve them.
It's not, because we're losing together.
We're losing together. That's what I finally got to is, regardless of who wins, what message are we sending? What is the message that we're sending with this individual candidate? Because let's be real, an individual candidate can change things, you know, in a certain respect. But even in that case, they only got 4 years. They only got like there is a limitation to these seats, and
that's a very small. Like, I mean, if he was governor, it'd be different. But
right.
Secretary of State, I'm sorry, no, that's
and
not.
they feel like I think they feel like this is a stepping stone. That this is a stepping stone to get there, and the
gateway drug.
Yeah,
like, you got Democrat for Secretary of State. Maybe you'll inhale some Democrat for.
I have some advice.
Governor?
I have advice for the Democrat Party and every Democrat candidate. Go talk to people. Not the ones that are at Democrat club meetings, you know, that have 10 or 12 people. Not the ones that are, you know, like actually get out in community. You know, go see Big Homie Ace and go feed some unhoused folk downtown. You know, come out here, come to a Taco Tuesday, go to resident-led, centered community meetings and actually talk to folks. Reach out to community leaders who are stupidly accessible.
Yes.
Stupidly accessible and so passionate. We're idiots. We'll give you everything for free. We do it 24/7. We'll give you stuff that you should be paying a consultant for absolutely free just because we love our people. Like, use the people who are organically building people power. Like that, it drives me nuts that y'all don't. It's like that. That's my advice. Y'all want to get your candidates through? I'm telling you, you're going to need organizing. You're going to need people power. I'm going to get more into the organizing piece later, but I just wanted to make sure we did that little breakdown because we had not talked about this race yet. It's incredibly important. Everything that I just shared is my personal opinion, where I landed, because maybe it'll help somebody else. I don't know. I just wanted to share it. So there's that. 3, our next topic, the primary follow-up.
Man, it feels like that was a year ago.
I know. It was not. It was just at the top of this month. It's just the first week of this month. The primary was May 5th. It was eventful. Y'all, it was so crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. The Warren Township Government Center, the stories coming out of there was crazy. You got the current trustee was taking people's sign out and throwing them on the floor, on the ground. I mean, out there pretending like he's spraying weeds, having people remove their signs. Listen, it was a mess. Okay, it was a mess. People being hawked down at their cars. Like, as soon as they get out the car, somebody, campaigners right there at their door. It was
sounded like Pike Township.
I know. Who you telling?
Pike used to be, it probably still is a little bit
probably
like that.
still. But who are you telling? No, it was absurd. But I think nothing hurt worse here in Marion County, I don't think, than the clerk race.
Yeah, that's another position. Nobody knows what the hell the clerk does for the most part.
Man, y'all, and
it was
close.
It was close. It really was close.
It was so well. More people voted against KSB than they did for her. If we had let folks know that one of the candidates were literally deceased, like had passed away first week of April.
Rest in peace, Bob Kern.
Rest in peace, Bob Kern. But the margin between her and Carla was much smaller between than the amount of votes. He got the 4,500 votes. He got 4,500 votes in death, y'all. And
he had been dead since
April 3rd, I think.
It's
something like that. The first week of April. Yes, a whole month. But many of us did not find out until closer to the primary, though. Like, we didn't find out until maybe a couple weeks after or so. It was closer to the primary once.
It was, yeah. Well, I heard early on.
Oh, did you? I didn't. But I didn't know until an article came out.
But I mean, it's one of them things like if you didn't know Bob Kern, like you're not gonna pay attention to these things. I always remember. I'll never forget him because his name was originally Bobby Hidalgo, and he changed it to Bobby Hidalgo Kern or something. And he ran for some seat up in most of the north side in Hamilton County, and he won his primary up there, and it got us on the Jon Stewart's The Daily Show way back in the day, early 2000s, because I mean Jon Stewart, he clowned us so bad it was terrible. So that's how I'll never forget Bob Kern. He was a legend out here.
and God rest him. This definitely has nothing to do with him and everything to do with how jacked up our systems are that we don't notify residents, voters that there's somebody deceased on the ballot.
There's some speculation and I've heard it either way from people that the clerk could have might have been able to take him off the ballot.
Might have been able to take him off the ballot.
I don't think it was too late.
So there is a cutoff in which they cannot be removed anymore, which I thought coincided with you being able to drop off the ballot too, like drop out of the race. which is before he passed away. So I just want to give that clarity. But if we could not have removed him, we definitely could have put notices up at all the polling locations. They have to go to all of the polling locations to put the little Indy vote signs out, letting them know like, hey, this is a polling location. Also to put the signs up, you gotta stay this many feet away and blah, blah. Like y'all have to get information out to all of these anyway. Why you couldn't just put a notice up letting you know, like it could even be in memory of type thing. And just like you can do it very tastefully and respectfully and still let people know that like, hey, this candidate has passed and we do encourage you to vote for a living candidate. We can do that. And the fact that we didn't is disgusting. And
but also then, then we got to talk about those, what would I call them? Well, they weren't, misleading campaign like these are your Democrats.
Kelvis. Kelvis's campaign. So sent out a campaign mailer that looked very similar to a slate mailing piece, and people were very upset. One, because so he had candidates on one side, and then on the back side it was a split of him and Kate Sweeney Bell. And it made it look like the people on the backside were all in cahoots with him and Kate Sweeney Bell as well. And so some of those candidates got upset because they were not supportive of Kate Sweeney Bell, and that was a very public thing. And I mean, I feel like because it was public, I can name like Ryan Mears was on the back of that mailer, and he very openly supported Carla Lopez Owens.
He went out and campaigned with her.
And so I'll tell you the other thing that was weird that I didn't hear many people talk about, but the other thing that made it feel like a slate is that these were not, a lot of those candidates on the back were not even challenged. Like our clerk's race, unchallenged. Our recorder's race, unchallenged. Our there was another one. I feel like there was a third, but there were people on there that was like, they didn't even need a campaign.
Yeah, it was meant to look like, and I've seen that in 2023 they did similar stuff with local races and trying to make people. And I want to say Kate. The last time Kate ran, like they made it seem like they're trying to get rid of this and that, and tried to make it seem like anybody running against her was a Republican, and it was the primaries. Like, this is just what they do. And
I think for me, so I can say as somebody who's, because I've ran campaigns and I've done, mailers, door hangers, stuff like that. We will use things that calls attention to the fact that people are Democrats, because opponents will try to paint it like, if you don't make that stuff abundantly clear, they'll try to paint it as if like you're not the Democrat candidate. So they do a lot of underhanded stuff. So we'll put stuff on flyers, door hangers, things like that says like officially endorsed Democrat, or stuff like that. It's different though when that is used in conjunction to a piece that looks like a slate piece where it's multiple candidates, not just yours. It's manipulative. Very manipulative.
And as somebody that's actually run a voting center, I can tell you it works.
Yes.
It definitely works.
And it's a you got to catch up to me type thing. Like, so we people threw a fit. He put out a statement, but it still went to all these people.
Yeah,
they already saw it. It's already a thing. It's in their head. It's over. It's same thing with the text message that went out for Forrestal.
Oh, now that was some nasty work there.
Ryan Mears' campaign sent out a text message
that was nasty
for Kerry Forrestal that said that he worked to put ICE out of our jails and stuff. And it was like, what?
No,
since when?
Forrestal did not.
So I shared a image of that and gave y'all 3 links that literally show the opposite of what was actually happening. Like, well, the opposite of what they were saying in that text message. He has been actively helping ICE and refusing to do anything different consistently. There's even video of him saying, I'm going to do everything I can to support. This is like, it was just a blatant lie.
It was
just a lie. And this is the thing too. It's just like with Trump, where it's like, remember I said, it's like, how many slaps can I get off before the court system, catches up to me? It's the same kind of thing. Like, the text message went out to all these people now. Like you can put out a statement. You can say, "Oh, it was mistaken. Oh, it was worded poorly. It was this, that, blah blah." But all of these thousands of people have already seen it.
I lost confidence in Amir's to a certain extent for that. That was a nasty thing to say, to go lie about. Like there's a lot of stuff.
It was a slap in the face to people who have been organizing against that too, namely like the Black Church Coalition and stuff, who were actively organizing and working to get our sheriff's office to do anything, even the smallest thing. And my understanding was it was like a checking and an unchecking of a box.
I mean, all for this for Forrestal to say that, you know, they've been cooperating with ICE, and then the federal government wasn't even paying the bills. Like, you know, that's how much of a lie this was from Ryan Mears. I was like,
and then
how could you approve this?
So then there is an article where it talks about them like cutting down the number of but that was because of overcrowding. It was not because
and the federal government not paying the bills too. Like, and they weren't coming to pick them up on time. Like everything that could go wrong with Forrestal's little bromance with ICE, because that's what was going on, went wrong. That's the only reason anything. And the organizing.
I got multiple screenshots of that text message. By the way, I got multiple screenshots. I ended up, sharing one of them. But yeah, that was a sick lie. But our point is they do this stuff during campaigning, and unfortunately, because
it can work.
Because we don't have anybody employing any kind of standards or camaraderie or anything amongst our candidates, and I'm gonna ding our party for that. I'm gonna ding our clerk for that, because we do not function in those kind of ways. We end up with this kind of behavior, and also you create deep divides between the different groups of people too, because we had multiple races out here. We got a new trustee in Warren Township, a new constable in Warren Township. Like, I mean, we killed the game. It was great, but at the same time, people were able to be out there and campaign with each other without incident. It was the incumbent that was creating difficulties. The new candidates that were coming in, they were talking, laughing, volunteers were working. Like but it's a culture. We have not built a culture that can accept and handle competition, healthy competition. We have not, and we have not, definitely haven't set a culture for decades now of actually doing the work that it takes to build power and to win races on people power.
Right.
Like, you had a trustee out here and a constable out here that was trying to ride the coattails of Judge Graves, and it backfired. And now luckily Graves was not challenged, so it didn't really hurt him none. But those kind of alliances and stuff, they can be harmful, because if he was challenged,
it's the company you keep.
That could have been ugly. So I just want to tell y'all, like, this is not business as usual anymore. This is not business as usual anymore. Nothing is going to replace doing the actual work of organizing and building people power. That is the way that we will win and build sustainable change. We have to do it. So I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted some of that. I know there was other primary races. Christina Moorhead came out over there for
but she did, everything happened exactly the way we said for her to win. Like, they literally split the black vote, and she came in and
that lower leg of Pike, and she came in and ran away with the northern part. And so you also had
she barely
Forrestal did end up coming out on that,
and it wasn't even close.
It wasn't even. That's one of those ones that when I said they have different standards, I probably will vote for Forrestal come the fall, not because I want to, but because we need more Democrats.
Oh, that's your district too?
No. Oh, I forgot. No, it's not my district. Sorry. Okay. I'm saying that's who if I was voting.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously Forrestal, but Forrestal's pretty bad.
That's one of the ones I'm saying. That's one of the ones where, because earlier I was making that distinction. I'm saying that's one of the ones where I would just choose the Democrat. I would vote blue come November for that seat because we need more Democrats in
and
the
ask
Senate.
for forgiveness later. I mean, it's better than voting. It's better than voting for the Republican.
Well, because, and this is the thing too, Trump got through, what they say, 7? Did he get 7 of them? Trump-backed candidates through?
No, it was only 5.
For the state? Was it?
I thought it was 5.
I don't know. One was being challenged or recounted or something.
I think it was 5.
Are you sure?
It wasn't.
I don't know. It was several. Enough that it feels concerning. It feels like the redistricting conversation could come back up. And I want to ensure that we have enough power and pressure in that state house to keep them at bay again. Now, I of course, I'm going to point out it did not die because of the kindness of Republicans' hearts. It died because they know it is a risk. Redrawing our districts is a huge risk. They can go from 7-2 to 6-3. That can happen. So, but we need the organizational structure and the organizing done, the foundation laid to, take advantage of that kind of situation. So just FYI, we need to be doing that work, building that stuff now. But I just wanted to highlight some of those things because, some of the hot topics that have still been lingering since the primary. I'll put the link to all of the results. We got a lot of PCs through. I'm so proud of all of y'all. We got a lot of state delegates. So for the first time, we are at full capacity in Marion County for state delegates. Okay. So every seat is filled. Yeah. Great work. Good work. We could do great work. There's a lot of potential still. Room to grow. Okay. So the next thing, we won't be long on this because this is fairly new, but the Hill got kicked out of Lawrence. They are now at Paul Ruster Park, where they were this past Monday. You can...
it's basically a group of black folks that were, I guess, fitness enthusiasts, fitness trainers. Yeah. They've been working out at the Hill in Lawrence Park since 2019. There are pictures. Yep. Despite some people's claims that this isn't a black thing, if you look at the pictures,
it's been all black.
It is almost all black.
My God, for years.
Maybe a sprinkling of salt every other occurrence.
Right.
It's almost all black. They were basically told by the authorities
and
there.
Black organizers.
Yeah, black organizers. Black organizers.
They would get together. They just run the Hill. Literally just run the Hill. Some people would walk the Hill. They'd be talking. They'd be connecting. Some people would bring kids out. It was a beautiful thing without incident. This is years of doing this without incident.
And without permits. Without because they're literally running up and down the hill.
It's like a run club. They're just meeting up and running this hill together, walking this hill together.
And so they plan to do it on at Lawrence Park on Memorial Day. Apparently, Deb Whitfield and her police chief Curtis Bigsby got wind of that and said that they're not going to allow that or whatever for whatever reason. Curtis, but it's C Bigsby. Yes, it is Curtis Bigsby, but it could be Clayton Curtis Bigsby. And we know him from the library board. He was on the library board. One of the people. Yeah. Like we dealt with him quite a bit. He's a scary person. He's very scared of the community. And so they put the kibosh on this, and so the organizers moved it to Paul Ruster Park on the far east side, and
German Church in Prospect.
And then later, the city of Lawrence put up something linking to their fees that you need to tell them 45 days in advance. Yeah. That you're going to have over 100 people at their park. Yeah. And it's $150 fee. And it's never happened before.
I was telling Wild, too, though. Like, you have to know beforehand that you're going to have that many people. With these kind of pop-ups and when you're all, like, meeting up somewhere, you don't know how many people are going to be there. And
especially to run up and down in the grass.
Yeah, and it was rainy. Like, well, it's been rainy all weekend. But it was a very gray day. I got little spot showers at my house that were just kind of off and on, little sprinkles here and there, but you don't know how many people are going to turn out or turn up for this stuff. Like
I saw the pictures of them at Paul Ruster Park. I'm not 100% sure that it was over 100 people there, and that's the whole time. So that's complicated. I was telling Wild, I actually looked this up recently, but I think here they require a permit for
250. So like
which is a whole lot more reasonable than 100 people running up and down a hill.
A hill.
And again, this has gone on since 2019.
Yes.
Some of the best photographers in the city have been out there to capture this, like Sharia, like a lot of them have gone out there and they've shown this. There's never been
Sharia Caldwell, outspoken photography.
Yep. So I mean, she took amazing pictures. That's how I saw it. And this has been going on since 2019 without incidents. The only incidents is people losing weight, burning calories, but black people
getting healthy.
Yeah, getting healthy. And it's like you got a black mayor and a black police chief that don't even like black people.
And this is and you can get mad at us and say, all this and that, whatever. This was a chance. Real leadership comes in and tries to partner, tries to work. So when you see them put up flyers, when you see him on the news, when you see
because they've been on the news for it. This has been a big thing.
When you see all of this stuff going on, you embrace it. You find solutions beforehand. Hey, we saw your flyer for this thing coming up. We do actually have official processes for some of this stuff. Are you guys anticipating more than this? Oh, if you are, then let's just, hey, somebody was even saying she has the power to waive the fee. Hey, don't worry about the fee. We just need to be able to plan around it safety wise. Like nobody we understand that. But for me, what it felt like is y'all have seen the kind of pushback and stuff folks are getting for Riverside. Mm-hmm. Black people congregating. You see the situation at West Montgomery, right? And it feels racist.
It does, and
it feels racist.
And I can tell you my experience with Curtis Bixby is that he may be a black man, but he is also a white supremacist. And I dealt with him on the
There's a disclaimer at the top of this episode.
He is a white supremacist. Like he doesn't like us. There are people in Lawrence that told me more details about him and their mayor, and so that I know that they were in on this, and the fact that Mayor Deb Whitfield came over to 33rd in Illinois to go, I guess, have go to the picnic with the people around the corner from me, while the people should have been at the Hill in Lawrence. Like, it's incompetence at every level. Like, you can't even connect with your own community, people that want to be at your park. This would have been a great thing for you to get out there with them.
So while she was campaigning for mayor, I was actually supportive. She had been to Taco Tuesday a ton. She would come straight in. She would volunteer, blah, blah.
Wow.
I loved it, right? I loved it. I never dreamed that she'd be a better candidate than she was a mayor. But one of the main commitments that I asked for in her running for mayor for Lawrence, I was like, listen, there's no community accountability for police. There is no community involvement or general resident involvement in any of these committees. Like, cause my family would go to the park for 4th of July every year and stuff. They have a committee for the 4th of July festivities. There's no resident representation on that committee. There's nothing. So I was like, yo, there needs to be resident representation on all of these places. Now, this is why I'm bringing that up, because if you had any kind of resident representation on your parks committee, they would have said something about this, and they also could have been then the liaison to connecting with this leader in the community that's organizing this thing, and y'all could have worked this out beforehand, and it could have been a beautiful story of how collaboration.
As bad as this incident has been for Mayor Whitfield's brand and the city of Lawrence brand, it could have been as good.
Yes.
It could have been as good.
It could have helped. And guess what's next year? Municipal elections, city elections is our next year. It would have been great. It would have been a great way to kick off your re-election campaign as you get close to it. But no, instead, you rather shut something down that's beautiful going on in our community, and yes, our black community. And you shut it down and you ruined it. Now, this I'll also say, the FAR welcomes you. The Hill, Paul Ruster, we welcome you.
We
love y'all. Okay,
we don't have
y'all.
a hill in my neighborhood, but
hit me up if y'all need any help with anything. And we'll do whatever we got to do to make sure that y'all can do this however often you want to do it and keep it safe and all the things we will do.
And I think with Indy Park standards, like if they're not over 250 people, then there's no reason.
I think that's the standard is
then
250 people.
So maybe it's going to be permanently moved out of Lawrence.
And we have good partnerships with parks. We have good partnerships with our police department out here. Like, I'm just saying, it could be. I'm talking about when it comes to these kind of things. I said out here.
Because
I can't talk about the other stuff.
Because if you come to the Riverside Park, they might put a attempted murder case on you, and your counselor is not going to say or do anything to keep them from harassing.
I don't even know that he even spoke about the incident at all.
He did not speak about it.
By the way, who's this counselor?
It is Counselor Vop Osley, who had a young black man at a park in his district was framed for attempted murder, and it has made the national news, and he's not said nothing. And they're still harassing people. With
the safety concerns at Riverside, has he ever tried to mitigate anything? Has he ever tried to bring community together with police to try to find solutions or create partnerships? I mean, he is the city county counselor
and wants to be mayor. As far as I can tell you that I've reached out to Toby about it. I can't get Chief Tanya Terry to go.
We talked about it in a meeting.
Yeah,
I shared that they need to connect with community. They need to connect with like some organizers that are kind of happening organically. I was explaining how, Riverside is kind of like traffic and stuff. It's not, it don't have to have an organizer. We show up on the, like we just,
nobody makes a flyer. This stuff was going on literally 20 years ago.
Right.
Like at least that's when I knew about it was 20 years ago. People have been coming out there, but we've got none of that. Meanwhile, people rushed out to West Montgomery Park because they were harassing people. I know longtime Riverside residents by name who said they were harassed by police just going to their home.
I was curious about that too. I've heard that there's no official data suggesting that, folks from Riverside went over to West Montgomery to congregate instead.
I saw them saying they were going to do it on Facebook.
But see, I was about to say, that's all I'm saying. No, the official didn't say that, But I was curious. As soon as I seen it, that's the first thing I thought.
I mean, you could look at the status. They was like, well, are y'all going to the Riverside or West Montgomery today? And everybody was like, we ain't going to Riverside. They've been over there tripping. They've been doing this. They've been pulling people over on Harding Street, on 30th Street, on Riverside Drive.
I was in a meeting and I literally brought up this point that this is what's going to happen. We're not just going to stop getting together. That's not what's going to happen. We're just going to find a different place to do it, and then it's going to be harder to keep safe because now it's a whole different terrain. So now you're having to strategize on how you do this, and then there's so it was also brought to my attention that they were saying when you don't have, because West Montgomery doesn't actually have like a building.
Yeah, not really.
And so because of that, they were saying they get less prioritization for rangers too. So
yeah, but I mean, all of that stuff. First of all, it was IMPD that I've got pictures on my phone of IMPD sitting parked on our promenade.
Oh yes,
so
Riverside, yes.
like that. They're the ones that are controlling access and comfortability at Riverside Park. So it's like, well, if y'all brought out the horse patrol out there at Riverside at the same time as everybody had gone to West Montgomery to escape y'all and y'all's terror tactics, that's an issue.
And so you know what's different? This is why they have to talk to community before they do certain things, because somebody else was like, oh, I thought they brought the horses out for the fun, and you, from your lens and perspective in the community, felt like.
Everybody that mentioned that they saw the horses out there was multiple people. None of them described it as fun.
You know what I mean? They saw it even more intimidating than just them just being out there on foot. And so, I mean, it's complex. What I know is that no matter what the way forward looks like, it looks like some kind of collaboration between community and whatever safety standards that IMPD feels like they need to uphold.
Because black people are going to congregate on Sundays.
We are going to congregate.
They were on MLK, remember? Mm-hmm. It used to be on MLK.
And they shut it down.
They shut down. And sometimes MLK and Riverside would be fat together, but not as fat when they shut down MLK. So they shut down MLK. Everybody went over to Riverside Park. Then you basically you did shut down MLK for you shut down Riverside Park for at least a week or two, where they didn't let people in there on Sundays. Then when you opened it back up, you harassed everybody. So they went over to another park, and then there is no security over there. It's a smaller park, and somebody gets shot.
And that's what that was my point, is that it's lower on the totem pole as far as prioritization of some kind of monitoring or anything. Like, so it's just it creates these kind of situations. Like they need to give IMPD needs to give some of the money back and go work with a reputable nonprofit and go hire security for Sundays. Figure out which park. There's enough people that know, because IMPD, y'all have shown that you can't handle it. You should be able to handle crowds at a park without putting an attempted murder case on somebody. That's not. The bar is in hell. The bar is in hell. This is what the name of the episode. I think there needs to be collaboration. I think it softens it when it's fellow community members saying, hey, we can still do this. We just need to make sure that, like, one of the things they brought up is, like, when it gets too congested, if there is an emergency, that you can't get emergency vehicles through there, or whatever. And it's like, okay, all of the points they were bringing up, it sounded like there's boundaries and standards in which that can be met. Like, so let's actually get that down. Let's actually just actually get that out to them and share that, like, hey, this particular space, it has to stay clear. This just y'all can meet, y'all can congregate, y'all can do all the things. This has to stay clear, right?
I mean, but and a lot of that is just really about how traffic is being directed, or maybe making changes at the park. The parking lot at Riverside is confusing.
Yeah.
But I will say, as a resident over there is no part of Riverside Park that is inaccessible, even when that parking lot is filled.
And that's what I would like to see. And this just removes the excuse for everybody. I would like to see the standards that police are saying. I would like to see what community is saying that, like, won't kill it for them. Like, what are we willing to do that won't kill it for us congregating and stuff, and move from there. I really think that's the only pathway forward. And it then gives us a good blueprint to work from there on. So if people do start congregating at West Montgomery or any other park throughout the summer, especially because as we lose, safe spaces for our youth, for stuff like that, they're going to be congregating and stuff too. They're going to be doing things. And so it's this summer. So it's like, as we get into the summer, I just think it's a good idea to start having these conversations now about what those boundaries need to look like, what safety precautions and things like that need to be in place, and how can we move that forward. Like, the general resident does not know any kind of standards for, what you're supposed to get a permit for or not. They don't have any idea about getting insurance. It's to the point about the hill and stuff like that. People don't. You have to tell people, and that's part of your job to do that. And so what we need to do, what would be top tier, is if our city, if OPHS wasn't getting heavily investigated all the time
for tricking off the money,
which isn't on our list. Dang.
Next time, Merkley.
Next time, mustache. But if they weren't so busy getting investigated, they could actually play that role. Like, our city could play the role of being that intermediary between, like, the safety measures and the police and the permitting and the things, and then whoever from the community side can, even though there's not, like, organizers, folks who can kind of take that role as, like, community ambassadors or anything.
It is a huge missed opportunity when you have all these black folks that want to go to the park for whatever reason, and the reason most often is really just to have a picnic or either to work out. Yep. And we are dropping the ball by criminalizing them, putting fees on for 100 people running up and down the hill, pushing people out of a park that is literally bigger than Central Park in New York, to forcing them to go to a smaller park where now there really is an issue with space and whether emergency services can get in there or not.
Yep.
It's foolishness.
It is.
Like we need to have better policy. We need to have better politicians, and we need to have a better police department.
So we're gonna move on to the next one because we spent more time there because we brought up the other stuff than I expected to. But they'll put a data center in your ass if you're not paying attention.
They sure. I mean, they tried to do that to Irvington. Like,
oh my God, y'all!
They said one thing, and
I'm putting that up on the screen. By the way, they'll put a data center in your ass if you ain't paying attention. And low key, we might already have data centers in our ass. Who knows? But so we had a bunch of different topics about data centers that just felt like we could just all lump into one. So we're going to start with, of course, Martindale Brightwood is still in their struggle and fighting against that Metro blocks. I'm trying to keep the names right.
Yeah, because you got Metro blocks and you got DC blocks.
Yeah, Metro blocks, they are still in the fight. They now have, they're now in litigation. So they've actually sued Metro blocks. And I don't know who else. Ron Gibson?
No.
Did they throw Ron Gibson in there?
No. No, I don't think.
Are you sure?
I think the city.
Oh, the city.
The city.
Okay. So, yeah, they're in litigation. I'll make sure I put that link below. But then you also have the data center that is being proposed in Irvington.
And Decatur also sued.
Decatur, yeah. Oh, Decatur also sued. Mm-hmm. But then the one in Irvington is the DC Blocks project. That is the one. I'll put the link in the description, but I can tell you now, one, the community has been opposed to this. I've been in 2 meetings with them, and they've had 2 public community town halls. Both have,
and 2 different stories about what the project was.
I was just about to say that. So with all of the meeting, what has been most concerning to me, and typically is not a good sign, is when we had our first meeting. So and this is a strategy of big companies. They'll try to come in and try to piece off the leadership and stuff. And so
I would say it was effective because I didn't pay more attention to it. Because what they sold,
but I did. And
you did
because you're not out here.
Yeah, I'm not out there.
Did. Yeah.
So I didn't follow. I'm like, oh, this is a small data center. I'm like, okay.
So because we know that that's a strategy that they like to do quite often. What we did was when they invited me to a meeting, I was like, cool, but I'm gonna bring a bunch of folks with me. So I invited we had 15 resident leaders. I put a ask out to see if certain ones could come, and then we ended up getting one to come, Melissa Shaw, and then we got I asked Wildside to come because of the data he's been through around data centers and the information that he has. I knew he would ask great questions, and then also Jesse Brown, because at the time, Jesse Brown was not far off of trying to do the data center moratorium,
which he successfully did.
Yeah, the resolution, things like that. So I asked him to come as well, and I'm so glad that I did. But when we talked to them, I'm not gonna lie to you, it seemed like they wanted to be a good neighbor. They
were very good at what they did.
Oh my God. They said it was going to be 3 phases. They said that final phase would be 25 to 26 generators max.
And that was a big if. Like, if everything else went well, it might be that someday. And they were only talking about a few generators to start. Yeah,
a few generators to start. Like, it was, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, a lot of us were now at the end of the call, I always end it with, listen, we stand on the side of residents, so it don't matter. You can sell Samantha on it all day.
No, nobody said, oh yeah, go ahead and do it. Nobody said that.
If general residents do not want it, that's where we're standing as a council, where we're at. That's where we're standing. So we had that meeting, felt pretty good about it, if I'm being honest. And then we went on, I made it clear, we'll see what residents say, whatever. So they did the town hall with Andy Nielsen. And so at the same time was the meeting for the market analysis for Washington Square, that community meeting. So we had to divide and conquer. I was over at the Washington Square meeting, and Sade, one of our leaders with the council, was over at the Andy Nielsen town hall. So this is the first time I noticed this. So I get into the notes, and she put on there 30 generators. And I was like, 30? And then I seen there was a more detailed breakdown where it said, 12 or 16, something like that. And then 18 here, and then another this many there. And when I added it up, it was 38. And I was like, why is it? They said 25 to 26 generators, and I
At
even went
max.
back
At max build, which was
all 3 buildings, all 3 phases. So I went back to my notes and like, am I tripping? They said this, right? So I went back to my notes and I found it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Well, at the same time, they had reached out to Sade to have a meeting because she let them know she's a leader with the council, right? So again, because it's in our practice to share these things with each other, she shared it with me. I could make it to the meeting, so I did. So it was me and her on the call with them. So we're on the call with them. They said the 30-something number again. And I said, hey, it's concerning to me that you all are saying 30-something because when you were on the call with us, it was 25. And I was like, that discrepancy is concerning. They was like, oh, well, they were acting like they were confused. They didn't know why there was 2 different numbers. They were like, we'll make sure we confirm that number. And like they talked to somebody else who's also on the call. And then they ended up coming back later in the call and was like, yeah, that number is right. It's the 30-something. I was like, oh, okay, which again, it was less than we had heard from like Metro Blocks or anything like that. So it gave me pause. It gave me pause.
And they're a little further away from most of the community than Metro Blocks.
This is already, high intense industry, industrial. I meant
and that's why at 25 I'm like, well, it's not great, but they're not right in a middle of the community.
And I ain't gonna, when I heard 38, because these were also smaller generators too. You remember they was telling they were smaller generators, blah, blah, blah. I was like, even at 38, I was like, I don't like that. That's different.
And also they committed on that call I was on that they only run their generators for testing, and then if there's a total blackout.
Yep.
Where a lot of data centers will run that as additional power when AES or whatever the power company can't keep up. They said they don't do that. Yeah. So that was something I was like, okay.
Remember they mentioned the battery backups.
Yeah,
too,
they had a battery.
Hadn't heard before, but they said the battery backups kind of fill that void until they get the diesel generators warmed up. So it was
they sold us a good bill of goods.
So I was on that call with Sade. They confirmed the 30-something was right. Whatever. Okay. So then there's another town hall. Okay. This one is hosted by Michael Paul Hart. So technically it's in Michael Paul Hart's district, but it is literally just on the other side of Andy Nielsen. So the first town hall was hosted by Andy Nielsen. It was more for the Irvington community that's right there. They're his constituents. Michael Paul Hart, obviously because we were at that the Washington Square meeting, he could not be at that other one or whatever. So he had his own town hall with them. And, I'm never going to fight against having multiple community forums.
Well, which was good in this case.
They tore them up, y'all, and there's video evidence of it.
But also the information they put in there had morphed, and by the time it gets to my desk, and I'm scrolling and I see a WFYI article, they were like, Irvington residents, concerned about $2 billion data center. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
$2 billion with a B.
I was like 5 or 6 generators is not a $2 billion or even 25 is. I'm like, what is going? So then I get in there and it's 56 generators. So if you're not keeping tabs, let me tell you, we went from, somebody's dyslexic because we went from 25, 26 and
to
really
56.
Yeah. And I mean,
it wasn't 50 nothing.
And the way they told it was a good chance that it was going to stay at like six generators for years. Yeah. It was only if they built. Now we gone from 6, possibly 25 if everything goes right.
They said 4 on opening day.
Yep.
They said 4 on opening day. That's in our notes. So, and I'm so great. Again, I'm so grateful I brought all these amazingly smart people because it's in my notes, it's in Jesse's notes, it's in Sade's notes, and then we have the article. So we can literally track where they have continued to give us different numbers, and it's growing. It's growing.
I mean, it might be 156 generators next month.
Facts. And how would we stop that if that is if this goes through? How would we even challenge or stop that if that is how it grew? Mm-hmm. Like it's huge concern.
They'll put a generator in if you ain't paying attention.
They'll put a generator in your ass if you ain't paying attention. Okay. I hollered at that. But then I also wanted to mention, so they are proposing the largest data center in the world in Madison, Indiana. I don't know if you guys are watching that.
That's on the Ohio River, so they go out to siphon all that water
out
of the Ohio River.
God, they're going crazy. I don't know. There's a video on my page too. Maybe I'll link that in the description too, of AOC talking about a Meta. I think it was a Meta data center. Was it a Meta data center?
Probably is, because the one up in Lebanon is $10 billion.
But she was showing the difference in the water.
It was disgusting.
She had them in jars. It was 2 different samples. They were disgusting, y'all. And she said the only thing that had changed is a data center came in. And she said, and you're telling me that this has nothing to do with this. It was tough. It was tough. And the EPA lady that was there, she was saying they're going to go straight back and investigate that. We'll see how that goes with the Trump.
It'll take years to investigate it.
It'll take years to investigate it, but not just that. You got an administration that does not care about the environment at all. Like, at all. So I don't even know. Even if they did find something, I'm not sure we'd ever know about it. We'd have to get a Democrat back in there to even kind of know.
Well, not the Democrats we got.
Not the ones we got.
Anyway.
While we're talking about data centers, I also want to point out a lie from one of our mayoral candidates. Okay, because you have a mayoral candidate that is out here saying data centers do not belong in our neighborhoods, and if you do not hear the impression there, it is definitely the one you.
But he also looks upon data centers as infrastructure.
He looks upon data centers, you peasants, as infrastructure, as necessary infrastructure. So I was in a meeting where he said that, like, let me be clear about this right now. Data centers do not belong in our neighborhoods. And then there's another clip where he was like, well, let me say, data centers do not belong in our neighborhood. They don't belong in our neighborhoods or any other area.
With a little bit of southern twang.
Areas. Like, it was very strange. So now we should keep count. We've seen at least 4 different VOPs now.
There is definitely different VOPs.
We've seen at least 4.
Different data center projects for this Irvington one. There's different VOPs. Maybe the data center was, maybe it's AI glitching with him.
Let me give y'all a little bit more information. Okay. One, VOP was not saying this a year ago.
He was not saying this at the beginning of the year.
6 months ago. That's what I was about to say. Bob was not saying this 6 months ago. That's one. 2, Jesse Brown, that resolution that came around
January 5th.
Yes. Why do you think it came around on January 5th? You know why? It's not because it took till January to prepare it. It's because the president of the council would not allow it to go to the floor for a vote. So it
had to take a new president.
So we had to get a new president. Maggie Lewis came in January, and that's when it was heard. So for somebody who doesn't believe data centers belong in our neighborhoods, why would you not allow this special resolution on data centers to be heard?
But also he voted against and it narrowly was defeated. He voted against the resolution in January.
So then,
and at the same time, and when he said he voted against it, he said that he was going to bring a proposal that would put some guardrails on data centers within the next 30 to 60 days. He said this in the beginning of January.
Yep.
We are now almost in June. 30 to 60 days.
Yep.
We're almost now into June, and there's no such legislation, no such proposal has come from VOP or the city council.
Nope. Then, you know, the statement he keeps citing too, the statement he keeps putting up next to these videos. Okay.
So is that letter?
That letter
that he signed on to.
That he signed on to, that came out 20-some minutes. Was it 24?
30 minutes before the
30
hearing.
minutes.
But he sent it to the press. He didn't send it to Martindale Brightwood people.
To the hearing. It was 30 minutes before the hearing examiner meeting. Let me tell y'all something about these hearing examiner meetings. They are not looking at something that just came out that you
Nobody
have to
knew.
hunt, seek, and find for.
Well, he didn't send it to them. He did not send it to them. He sent it only to the press. I have the email.
We did not even get it until we were already in the meeting. We were already in the meeting, and that's when.
And it was only because one of the counselors posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
But they waited and they waited until after the hearing started to post it on Facebook.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Who are you playing with? Who are you trying to fool? Like, how stupid do you think we are? The bars in hell.
The bar, it is.
The bar is in hell.
And then to find out that your employer, Woolper, designs the data centers for for all we know, VOP may be helping to design the Meta data center up in Lebanon because his company, the company he works for, designs Meta's data centers. So the whole time you're just regurgitating company policy.
I cannot. Okay. I cannot. I'm done with, you want to talk about real things, talk about real things. You want to keep lying and playing in our face. I have zero patience for it. Stop lying and playing in our face. Stop lying and playing in our face. I'm over it. You wasted everybody's time, and you purposely. So Miss Jacqueline Gunn went and got a continuance based off of the stuff that you said, VOP. Yep. That you were going to bring a proposal to regulate data centers within the next 30 or 60 days. We all sat there. We was there to sit next to each other. We were surprised when she went and asked for the continuance, and she got it. Yep. And VOP did not come through. He played her. You had played the whole neighborhood of Martindale Brightwood. Data centers do not belong in our neighborhoods. Yeah. And then also, listen, data centers do not belong in our neighborhood or any other area. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna keep on playing, y'all, and keep playing in our face. Like, we have got to let this leadership, these candidates, know you ain't about to do that to us. We are not stupid. We can read. We can sit in meetings and understand. Mm-hmm. We see what's happening. We see you. We can see that you sent a letter of support, not to the community members. You never did send it to the community members. No, he could have sent it to staff and made sure that it was actually a part of that's where it's supposed to have been. What's it called that they give to the hearing examiner? Remonstration. Yes, but I'm saying, where is the the whole packet that she gets? I thought there was a name for it, but it should have been a part of that whole packet. And I looked at the packet. He did not send it to the city. He sent it to the press. He didn't send it to Martindale Brightwood. He didn't see it. He doesn't want to actually fight for our neighborhoods, y'all. He doesn't actually care. That's he wants to look like he's actually fighting for our neighborhoods. That's who he is. Two different things. And this is his constituent. So argue with them. And I'll argue back too. So real quick, I'm gonna get to the last couple. Because we ain't gonna have time to really get into that last one. We're just gonna have to share stuff. But okay, and we can nix our brief thoughts at the end. But anyway, there's a new curfew, y'all. Okay, curfew starts before sunset. Like if you see the sun out and it's in the evening, get your kids in the house. Get your kids in the house. Because Leroy Robinson said they need to be in the house. So 9 p.m. if you're under 15 for every day. 15 to 16-year-olds need to be in by 9 on weekdays. Yep. So if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if the sun's out and it's the middle of July, your kids might better be in the house. This is what I will say. I like that there's no fines this time. Mm-hmm. My God. Well, because it's not enforceable. It's more bogus legislation from Leroy and the Public Safety Council as usual. But on the other side of things, and I said this even before it was put to a vote, I don't like anything that not encourages, but I don't like anything that increases. I know, but increases interaction between police and our young people. It's not a good scenario for them, for police, for leaders who oftentimes get brought in there. Like, it's just not a good situation. We do not need to create more opportunities for them to have interaction. So you see a group of, I don't know, 16-year-olds walking downtown. How do you know how old they are? So say July 4th. You see a group of 16-year-olds walking downtown at 9:15. It's not even dark. They can't even watch fireworks yet. And what time does fireworks start? Was it 10? Probably not 9:45 or 10. So 45 minutes after. So the police have the right to go confiscate any of your kids that are downtown for 4th of July because the sun will set well after 9. And that's the kind of scenarios I'm talking about. And then we talk about the guy in the car, even though technically he was, I think he was technically 18.
He was 18.
There were some people just under 18 in the car as well. But you look at those instances when she says he pointed the gun, we can't prove it on body cam, blah, blah, blah. You look at the instance after the protest out here in Warren Township, threatening to kill the teenagers. You know, you think about all these incidences that they've had with young people, especially young black people, that have not went well, and now we're going to increase those instances of those kind of interactions happening at night on 4th of July. You got to think.
Well, not at night.
Well,
not at night.
Night.
No.
But
foolishness, incompetence, and it's more passing the buck. It's more because sending a signal to the news that you did something when you really didn't do anything.
And it's too early.
It's like
it's performative.
I mean, it's almost as performative as sending a letter that you support Martindale Brightwood against this data center at 30 minutes before the hearing starts. It's almost as performative. It's the same tactic. And by the way, Leroy signed on to that letter too. Because they're in it together. They're both performative. They're performative people.
They should start a show.
They should.
They should just start a show. Y'all can just perform together. I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, y'all can just go ahead and do that.
Now, which one is going to be Beavis and which one's going to be Butthead?
No, Dumber Dumber.
No, for real.
Okay, sorry. Okay, next one. Martin Reginald Hakim Bernard University.
Somebody going to jail.
What are y'all doing?
I never thought it would get to this point.
Oh my God. We don't know if y'all have seen it or not, if you had a chance to see it or not. But Martin, Mir Indy has done a deep dive on Martin University's financials, a lot of the stories from students. It's bad, y'all. The allegations are actually criminal. They're criminal.
And Mir Indy makes it clear that failing to refund federal student financial aid funds can lead to a criminal penalty of a fine up to $20,000, up to 5 years in federal prison, or both. And this is what multiple people are alleging is happening, not did happen, like is happening at Martin University.
So
even
in
though it's
October
closed.
2025, staff were told that the school had enrolled enough students to stay open through the spring. Employees paused their job searches. Then on December 8th, interim president Felicia Brokaw called a meeting and told the staff that the university would pause operations by the end of that week and that she'd be lucky to get them out the door with what she owed them. That's how abrupt it was. There was no real warning.
So when they closed, they still had people's financial aid in queue, like that they had already processed them for the next semester. So
Martin had been placed on accreditation probation back in 2014, primarily for financial problems. And it took 3 years to get off probation. By fall 2024, enrollment had dropped to just 198 students, down from over 400. So since March 2023, the federal government had put Martin under heightened cash monitoring. So it's a system designed to watch colleges with their financial problems.
Basically to make sure that they're not paying all their expenses with federal financial aid that's supposed to be for the students.
But then Martin was apparently so broke that they were not issuing refunds on time. And so they said students who should have gotten refunds within 14 days were waiting weeks or even months. The most recent audit showed that Martin had no money in the bank and had borrowed against its $733,000 endowment. Then they announced the closure. They claimed they had no endowment at all.
In late fall, an employee, Jennifer Anderson, said Huddleston and Johnson, who was the controller, Huddleston was the president, asked her how much more money Martin was expecting to claim in financial aid so the university could determine how to cover payroll.
I don't know. For those of you who don't know why Wildstyle's hand is on his face, you cannot use financial aid.
I mean, we're talking about federal crimes here.
I don't know
how to sugarcoat this. I don't know how to sugarcoat this.
It is crazy, y'all. I need y'all to read this article, and it goes on and on. I printed it, and it was like 16 pages printed. That's how long it is. They
should have closed the day that Perkins, the board chair of Martin, sent that letter telling the community to stand down about supporting, demanding that the state support them. They should have been announcing the closure then.
Yeah. Yeah. And two, this is, this reminds me of, so I'll tell a quick story about my oldest son, which I don't know if he probably don't care because he was like in first grade. So he gets off the bus, face all red. And I asked him, yo, what happened? And he had been fighting, arguing with a kid on the bus before. And I was like, you fighting with this kid on the bus? And he's like, yes, he was, doing stuff to him, whatever. So I'm hot, right? Hopping mad. And I had already said something to the school. So I go up to the school, okay? I go up to the school and I'm like, yo, somebody's going to give me some answers now. Right now. So they go off. They're trying to figure things out or whatever. They call me back in there. I come in. They're like, hey, we watched the camera from the bus. And I'm like, okay. And they were like, so it actually started with your son and another kid were doing this to a different kid, and then he turned on your son.
Oh,
right?
No.
And so, and y'all know, like any other mom, like, so my son's standing there next to me, and I look down at him because how you got me going off on these people, and you were on some foolishness. And now you're like, Samantha, what does this have to do? Because why you got us out here in the community going after Bron, talking about the money they're pulling from y'all, talking about all this stuff, advocating. You got community leaders meeting with Bron and stuff, talking about this, and y'all in there on some foolishness.
Y'all knew y'all was going to be closing probably 2 years ago, or y'all should have known.
Y'all know fraud is in there going on, all kind of stuff that they talking about in this article. Y'all got all kind of stuff going on in there, having us out here advocating, being mad. What? And then judging the people who are like, I don't know, things have been sketchy, stuff's been questionable, and you anti-black, and you talking about this, and you just hate black people, and you just hate blah 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 blah.
There is a certain person that I hate to be right.
That is gonna go crazy on this.
Oh man, they were so right.
Crazy on
they
this.
were so right, and so right.
So right. So there's a class action lawsuit that was filed April 22nd against Martin, the former president, Sean Huddleston, and the board of trustees. Eastern Star just closed on the property on May 8th. We've seen on social media already, people are asking about how the property could be, the assessed value was at a certain amount. And then Eastern Star paid a much less amount. Then for an institution that needs money, obviously still owed people money, still was in the hole and stuff. Like,
and also now that you got that $3 million, where's it going? What?
We don't know.
Where?
We are just asking questions.
I need y'all to read this article. It's a long article. There's a point in here where somebody was a few classes short of a degree.
Oh Lord.
And Martin University just handed them a degree without them getting them classes. Then she found out when she tried to enroll somewhere else that they had absconded with her financial aid money.
It's bad, y'all. It's bad.
We just got this morning.
It's like
I read
it's
it
like
on the way
Mere
here.
Indy knew we were recording today. This is bad. My
flabber is gassed. Like
T's and P's.
Oh my God! Like this is much. The article never stops. Like you think you're like, oh, it can't get no crazier than this, and then something else.
No, it gets worse. It gets crazier. It gets crazier, y'all. It's bad.
Oof.
It's bad. And I think that's where I'm not going to get to our brief thoughts today, because I'd rather spend the time on that, because that's insane. But y'all, listen, if we do not raise up, elect, support, demand better leadership, we will continue to have this dysfunction on every level. It does not have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. We can have leadership that is actually competent. We can have leadership that can actually do well by our communities, that listens to its people, that makes sure that their people can provide for themselves and be housed and be fed. Like, these are all things that can happen. You can have universities that you can actually get your degree in, that financial aid can actually cover, that you can actually get a job afterward that can,
and maybe you can work for
you.
one that can get, it's going to actually pay you.
You can work for one that can pay you. You can have elected officials that don't blatantly lie to you. We can have quality development that actually serves our neighborhoods and the environment. We can go down the list, but everything that we talked about today, this is what I want us to leave with, is we talked about the bar being in hell. It's in hell. It's in hell. Right now it's in hell. It doesn't have to stay there though. The bar does not have to stay there, but we do not get what we deserve. We get what we fight for.
Yep.
We have to fight for better standards. We have to fight for better leadership, and we have to fight for effective systems that actually serve us well. It has to be a fight. It has to be a fight. So that's it. That's all we got today for this episode. I feel like we're gonna be back quick, y'all, because this.
Because there's stuff. There's all types
so
of
much, and there's stuff that we missed.
OPHS.
Oh my God, come back. And we have more interviews. There are folks that want to come on, and we're happy to have y'all on. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Anything else you want to include before you go?
No.
You got anything coming up?
I do, but I can't remember.
Okay. So there are things coming up.
Black Joy Festival. That's not till July. I mean,
that's okay.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, Black Joy Festival coming up. I love the Black Joy Festival. Y'all should go. It's beautiful. There's also, the Far East Side Festival will come up in July as well. Okay. You got the QOL celebration. Our QOL celebration will be on June 5th at the IBE building out here.
What?
Stop.
What did you say? What?
But there's exciting things happening, man. You can learn more. You follow us on social media. All of our stuff is at the end. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, give us feedback, give us your opinions,
and give us some dirt if you got it.
Yeah. Listen. We accept it all. Okay, we will fact check it.
Yeah, we'll fact check it. But if you know where the bodies are buried, we'll come.
We will talk about it. We will talk about it. Give us receipts. We'll talk about it. But that's it, y'all. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful month. I hope it ain't a whole month before you see you again.
Yeah,
but if it
not.
is, love you long time. Peace.